So we're going to look at an example here of where you are given standard form. And you might not necessarily be asked to graph it. You may just be asked to rewrite the standard form into slope-intercept form. And if you do, then you take the standard form and you simply solve for y. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So you want to get the y by itself. So you undo all of this that's happening to y. The first thing you do is the opposite of plus 3x is minus 3x, so you subtract that from both sides of the equal sign. Those two add to 0, leaving you nothing except for the negative 2y right here. We put the equal sign, and now a lot of people mess up right here and they combine those two, but we can't. They are not like terms. The slope-intercept form likes the x term to be first, so I'm going to put the negative 3x first, and then I'm going to put the constant at the end. Just because that's the way. It doesn't matter. If you wrote negative 2y equals, if you wrote negative 2y equals negative 6 minus 3x, that's not wrong. It's just not in that form. So this is just as good as this. Let me go back to solving for y though. How do you undo negative 2 times y? Well, you divide. And if you divide this side by negative 2, you're going to divide the other side by negative 2. That leaves me with y equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. I can't simplify this. 3 over 2 doesn't reduce. So I'm simply going to leave that like that. If you had finished this side, you would divide everything by 2. You would got y equals positive 3 minus 3 over 2x. This is the exact same equation as this. So that's one thing you can do. Just convert it from standard form to slope-intercept form. And then, of course, if you haven't slope-intercept form, you can, of course, go over here, graph the y-intercept is at 3, and then this is your rise over your run. This is rise, this is run. So from that point right there, you rise 3, run 2, put a dot. I can't keep going because I'm out of graph paper, so I'm going to go back here and go down 3, left 2. Down 3, left 2. And then that gives me some points to line up. So that's one way that I can do it. Just simply convert it from standard into slope-intercept and then graph it. You can, however, find out each one of these pieces of information by just knowing, because sometimes I don't need to graph it. Sometimes I just need to look at that and know what the slope is. So if you're looking at 3x minus 2y equals negative 6, and all you want to know is what the slope is, you just do negative a, so change the sign of this and keep the sign of that. That's what this says right here, negative a over b. Change the sign of a, keep the sign of b. And then a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the slope is 3 over 2. If you just need to look at this and see what the y-intercept is, then the y-intercept is going to be c over b. This number right here divided by that number. So negative 6 divided by negative 2. That's a positive 3. And that's the same thing that we got here and here. And of course the x-intercept, I don't really have either one of these memorized. I have memorized that if I have this memorized right here. If I want to find the y-intercept, I plug in 0 for x. And if I plug in 0 for x, I'm going to get negative 2y equals negative 6. And then it's as simple as dividing both sides by negative 2, y equals positive 3. That's what I got right there. Now to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y. If I plug in 0 for y, I get 3x equals negative 6. And then all I got to do is solve that equation, divide by 3, and x is equal to negative 2. And there's my x-intercept, there's my y-intercept. I found both of them just by plugging in 0 for the opposite. That's the quickest, easiest way. I don't have this memorized, but you certainly can. If memorization is not a big deal for you, you can certainly memorize this. If not, you can just remember, plug in 0 for x to find your y-intercept, plug in 0 for y to find your x-intercept. This is super fast and super easy.